Hello Year 6 and welcome to Thursday the 23rd of April's math video. Let's start with the challenge questions from yesterday and we'll begin with this one here. Hopefully you worked out that this question's asking you to find equivalent fractions. That's the only way you would have worked out the same number which would go in both of those boxes there. You could have had 4 20ths plus 1/4 is 9 20ths, and that would have worked because if we convert a quarter into 20ths, how many times does 4 go into 20? Well, that's 5. 4 times 5 is 20. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 plus 5 is 9. So that's one way you could have found. Another way that you should have identified is that you could have used the digit 5 also. And if we check that one, why would that have worked? Well, 5 into 20, you multiply that by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. 5 20ths plus 4 20ths is 9 20ths. Excellent, so that's the answer to that one. Let's have a look at this one here. This one was a little bit trickier. It asked you to work out what the numbers in the boxes should be based on the fact that in the rows and the columns they add up to these numbers here. So if we have a look at this one, we know that we've got 3 holes in this number. I've got 2 holes there. 2 holes plus something will give me 3 holes. So that tells me that there has to be 1 in that box there because 2 plus 1 is 3. Now it's a little bit trickier to work out which one goes here. If we have a look, I know that I've got 1/4, which I've wrote here, and I've got 1/2, which I've wrote here. My answer is in eighths. So again, we're looking at equivalent fractions. I know that I need to turn my quarter and half into eighths. So what do I do to 4 to get to 8? Well, I multiply it by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have 2 eighths plus, what do I do to 2 to get to 8? I multiply it by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. So if I add that together now, 2 plus 4 is 6. You do not add the denominators. It gets me 6 eighths. So I know that 1/4 and a half is 6 eighths using the equivalent fractions. But I want 7 eighths. 6 eighths plus something gives me 7 eighths. Hopefully you'll have worked out that's 1/8 because 6 eighths plus 1/8 is 7 eighths. Now let's have a look at this one. Now this one here is even trickier really. The holes, they've already been done for us. 2 plus 3 is 5. Easy. But now I have 1/4, which I've wrote here, plus 1/2, which I've wrote here, plus something is going to give me 1/2, 1/12 should I say that. That's 1/4 plus 1/12 is going to give me 1/2. So how do I go about doing that? Well, I could convert them all to 12ths. As you see, 1/12 is the same, so I don't need to convert that. And I've already converted my 1/4 here into 3/12. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. Now, I know that my answer needs to be 6/12. Why do I know that my answer needs to be 6/12? Because an equivalent fraction of 6/12 is 1/2. If we ever think, what's a common factor of 6 and 12? 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6, well, that's 2. So we already know that my answer needs to be 6/12. 3/12 plus 1/12 plus something needs to give me 6/12. 3 plus 1 is 4, which means I need another 2/12 to get me to 6/12. But why can't I put 12 here? Well, if we have a look, I've got 6/12 here. That's 6/12, which is equivalent to 1/2. So therefore I put my answer in 2/12 here, but my numerator there is 1, not 2, it's 1. So if I have a look, 2/12, what do I need to do to 2 to get it to 1? Well, I need to divide it by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 2/12 is equivalent to 1/6. And that's how I work out this one here, 1/6. And the last challenge question for us to look at here, we know that something subtracted by 3/5 is going to give us 8/45. So what's the first step that we have to do here? I have to make the denominators the same. So what do I do to 5 to get to 45? I multiply it by 9. 5 times 9 is 45. 3 times 9, 27. So now I know that something subtract 27/45 equals 8/45. So how do I work out what goes in this box? Well, I already know that my denominator is going to be 45. And to work out my numerator, what do I do? 27 add 8, which gets me to 35. 35/45 subtract 27/45 equals 8/45. But my question says in its simplest form, I have 35/45. What's a common factor we could use? 5. 35 divided by 5, 7. 45 divided by 5, 9. Therefore, 7/9 subtract 3/5 will get me the answer of 8/45. Right, excellent. So that's the answers for our challenge questions based on yesterday's video. Let's have a look what we're moving on to today. So today we're having a look at multiplying fractions. Now, we like multiplying fractions. It's a really easy thing to do. It's quite a simple method. So here we've got 1/2 times 2/5. Step 1, you multiply the numerators together. 1 times 2 is 2. Step 2, you multiply the denominators together. 2 times 5 is 10. So 1/2 times 2/5 is 2/10, which you can see here we have simplified to 1/5. So multiplying fractions, it's very simple. You multiply the numerators, you multiply the denominators, and then you simplify the fraction if that's possible. Let's have a look at a visual representation of that to make that a little bit clearer. Now, you might be able to remember that when you see that multiplication sign, that's the same as saying of. So if we scroll back up to look at this here, 1/2 multiplied by 2/5 is the same as saying 1/2 of 2/5. So here we can see we have 2/5 here of pizza. 1/2 of that 2/5 that we have been taken. 1/2 of 2/5 is 2/10, which we can see is equivalent to 1/5. So that's what's happening when we're multiplying fractions. That is what is happening. Today, in your My Maths task, you will see some questions like this. What does that mean, though? What do you actually have to do? To get to this answer, you need to times this, whatever fraction's in the middle, by this here. So 3/10 times 1/4 to get this answer, 3/10 times 2/9 to get this answer, 3/10 times 5/7 to get this answer, and so forth. Pause the video now and have a go at doing those by yourself. Okay, let's have a go at doing them together. So I've got 3/10 multiplied by 1/4. I'm going to do this one first. What's the steps when we are multiplying fractions? Step 1, times the numerator. 3 times 1 is 3. Step 2, times the denominators. 10 times 4 is 40. Is there a common factor? No, so we cannot simplify. The answer here is 3/40. Let's do this one together now. 3/10 multiplied by 5/7. 3 times 5, 15. 10 times 7, 70. Common factor, we could use 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 70 divided by 5. How could I do that in my head? Well, I know that 50 divided by 5 is 10, so I could start from there and then count on to 70. Hopefully you've worked out that's 14. Are there any other common factors? No, so that's in its simplest form. 3/14. Right, let's move on. Okay, something else that you're going to see today is some word problems using fractions. Let's have a look at this one together. Callum used 4/9 of a metre of wood to make a model boat. He used 1/3 of this amount to make a model aeroplane. How much wood did he use to make the aeroplane? Now, that might seem a little bit confusing because it's in a word problem. However, you have got the skills from what we've done today to be able to work this out. We know that he's taking 1/3 of 4/9. He's taking that 1/3 of the 4/9 of wood that he had originally. Now, what did I say previously? That of is the same as? Well, I know that of is the same as multiplication. So we repeat the method that you've already learned. 1 times 4 is 4. 3 times 9, 27. Is there a common factor? No. So there we go. It's in its simplest form. He used 4/27 to make the aeroplane. Here we've got another question. Pause the video and have a go at this one by yourself. Okay. Mandy bought 1/3 of a kilogram of carrots. She used 1/8 of them to make soup. What mass of carrots did she use in the soup? So we know again, she's used 1/8 of 1/3. Well, how do we calculate that? Well, we know that of is the same as saying times by, multiply. 1 times 1, 1. 8 times 3, 24. She used 1/24 of the bag of carrots in the soup. Excellent. Right, let's have a look at our challenge questions for today. Go ahead and pause the video, have a go at them, and we'll go over them in tomorrow's video. Thank you for joining me today, Year 6. I hope you found it useful. And I will see you tomorrow for our last maths video of the week.